Oh dear.
Hello, everyone. It is November the 6th, but apparently we're going to act like it's still October the 31st because we weren't here on October the 31st. We were out trick-or-treating. It looks like we've got Venom as a guest with us. What's up, Venom?
Man's got too much money.
Just Venom doesn't speak.
How's everybody doing?
We are well. What's up from across the pond there, Mr. Pete?
Hi. How's it going?
Not too bad, not too bad. You know, I had to send you that message about the time change because I'm like, okay, the last time we did this, Pete was here like an hour earlier. I can't remember, hour early, hour late, something.
Right.
Something.
No, it's okay. Our clocks changed last week, so yeah, I forgot that. So yeah, no, it's all the same. Still 5 hours. Because I was looking at things, thinking, well, it's still 5 hour difference. I can't see how it's changed. Because our clock's changed. Ours always changed for you.
There you go. Got another mask. How's this one? You like this one better?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Well,
I don't know. The one with the lights was kind of cool.
Okay, I got a better one.
Tommy's got a quick supply of masks.
Oh, Halloween is as I've
your thing.
Told you, yeah, it's always is. This one's cool. Wow.
Ooh. So while Tommy's going through his mask, shout out to all of our our sponsors. Daytona Beach Comic Con. Oh shoot! I know we found out the dates last time. I can't remember if I marked them. I didn't put them on my calendar. Tommy, do you remember what they were?
What's he done?
Now you just need you need a blaze on your skull there.
This one, you can see my mouth. That's pretty stupid. I need a black mask. See, this one's John moves. It's like
Shoot. I can't find the dates for next year yet. Anyway, so I'll try to work on that and make sure I get that for next week. But it'll be in September, about mid-September. So if you like comics, you like comic conventions, make your plans to attend Daytona Beach Comic Con and near Daytona Beach. It's not in Daytona Beach anymore, but it's near Daytona Beach. So
they're still staying somewhere else. They're still staying outside of.
I think so. I think he's still having venue issues. So, to my knowledge, I think he's just going to go back to the same place that he was this past time. So, it seems to work for him. So, and also Coliseum of Comics. If you like comics and you find yourself in Orlando, Florida, and you are in need of comics, because we all know how that happens when you get the need for comics.
You need that fix.
That's right. Drop by Coliseum of Comics and ask for your Silverline comics there. They've got them, and you just got to ask them for it, and they would deliver. They've got a nice, sweet little local section, and they got a whole bunch of Silverline comics there. Tell them we sent you.
And if I'm not mistaken, they're going to get a brand new set of books here coming up for the latest, not the Kickstarter that we have going on now, but the one that we're fulfilling this from a month ago. So
yes, one. To clarify, November is our targeted date for fulfillment. So since today is the 6th, we've got a whole month before we're ever even late. But I think all of them should go out in the coming few days. So if you're waiting on, let's see what Twilight Graham number 4, Scary Book number 1, Sirens number 2, and Achilles Has Landed number 1. Those should be coming out. Those should be getting in the mail to you this week. And also, if you're in the Orlando area, keep your eyes peeled for a possible signing from Brent at Coliseum of Comics. I think we're going to get him down there to sign the new book. So, got a couple of comments here. Vic says, "Why spooky if it's November?"
Because it's always spooky.
Yeah.
Well, November the 5th.
Oh, that's right.
Because here in Orlando, Halloween goes on for another week or two while they're the parks are still doing some Halloween stuff.
Now, so wait, so now November the 5th is a British thing too, though, right? Pete, what?
Bonfire night.
Bonfire night.
Guy Fawkes.
That's right. I saw the mask, but I couldn't think of the name. I'm like, okay, I know what this is.
It's what now?
If I confess to Pete that I don't know it, I'm gonna be lowered in his estimation. But I remembered it.
Yes, Guy Fawkes. Guy Fawkes. We got bonfire night, or we just fireworks and stuff.
Oh,
it's when the guy way back in history when he tried to blow up Parliament.
Attempted regicide. Yes.
Oh, interesting.
That, apparently.
And now they celebrate it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's unusual, but sure, we do that.
Well, you know, I've always wondered and thought, why don't we have JFK Assassination Day?
Oh.
Unless we're celebrating the failure of Guy Fawkes.
Okay, that makes sense. He failed, so yeah.
The failure.
Vic says maybe. He wants to hear spooky stories. He says, "Hey, Vintami, I got something you inked last week." I'm gonna assume he means week. What'd you get, Vic?
What?
He must have found some original art.
Or maybe it's a comic.
Yeah, let us know what you got, Vic. He says, "I have 3 masks in my room most of the time." Yeah, all right, there you go. Oh,
Excellent.
look at this. Bobby Weskovich says, "Hello, big dummy," and Mike the bike.
Mike the bike. Okay, I don't like that nickname.
LDG Free the Net says, "Howdy, what's up, LDG?
Howdy.
Thanks for dropping in." We're going to tell some scary stories here. Oh, you got a page from the strangers.
Oh, did I meet you and sell you a page, or how did you end up getting one? Who'd you get it from?
No, Vic is somewhere.
You don't remember selling anything to anyone, do you?
Shut up.
Listen,
he probably had a 30-minute conversation with you before he bought something, and you're like, never heard of him.
No, I don't know.
Word from me.
Oh, he says it's not original art. He got the issue.
Got the book.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Well, maybe I'll get to sign the book for you one day. That'll work.
That's right. Yep. That's very cool.
I did quite a few of the strangers. I mean, not a big run of them, but I did 5, 6 of them, 7 of them, something.
Several.
Did a bunch. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember how many. I'd have to go back. It's one of those things that it's so many years ago now. I remember bits and pieces. I know you did some of that. I know you did some of that, and I remember.
I still have some original art left.
From the strangers, right?
Call me.
That's right. Hit him up, Vic. If you want some of that original art, he might even have a page from the comic that you got.
Oh, that would be.
How cool!
I probably do. I've got quite a few. Well, Vic, I got to say.
I can tell you this after having actually, if you don't just go search the Silverline page, and we did a live from where were we? Pop Sci-Fi this Saturday,
Yep.
And I showed a big stack of Tommy's original art and the prices, and they're steals. They're just steals. Yep. So you should let him know what it is, and you might.
Matter of fact, Pete stole a cover from me.
Which one?
I don't know. What was that cover that you stole?
It's the one in the back of Ultraverse Premiere. It would have to have an issue number. Oh, look at that! Hold on, Pete, hold it up there. Wow.
So what we need to do, that the other half, that's a double page cover, meaning that it's 2 covers, it's 2 sides. Pete drew both of them, of course. I inked it. So the issue 4 is the other side that is available on the Kickstarter that we got going now. But so if make it so Pete doesn't get it, because I'm going to give it to Pete if nobody buys it. So make Pete get upset for not getting both sides.
We've got a little video. Let's just play it. About 3.5 minute long. So it's a Kickstarter video. So here we go. Hi, and welcome to our Kickstarter. This is our 21st Kickstarter. 21. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
If you've been around for the others, thank you so very much for your support. You know that we like making comic books, and you know that we deliver, so thank you so very much. If you're new, let that number sink in. 21. That means we've done 20 other Kickstarters, and we've fulfilled them, shipped them, everything. We like making comics. So I'm going to shut up talking, and I'm just going to go ahead and tell you about it. We've got 5 comics in our Kickstarter this time. The first one I'm going to tell you about is Trumps. This one is Trumps number 4. It's the conclusion of our mini-series. All the armies are in place. The battle is about to begin. We've got the clubs and the diamonds. They're about to go to war. And then there's spades and there's hearts. Only one of them can be Trumps. Who's it going to be? You got to read the book to find out. Now, I'm going to let Barb Kalberg tell you about Divinity. Take it away, Barb.
Hi folks, this is Barb Kalberg, creator of Divinity. As most of you know, Divinity is a young girl with amazing healing abilities, and everybody would like to get their hands on her. In this issue, she has fallen into the hands of an unscrupulous foe. Her brother Zach is on the run, trying to keep his own self alive while finding a way to rescue Vinny. Thanks for watching, and thanks for reading.
Thanks, Barb. The other one I'm going to tell you about is Switchblade. This is another conclusion to a mini-series. This one's Switchblade number 3, and it concludes our mini-series of Switchblade. Again, the pieces are all in place. Is Scott Nathan, aka Switchblade, gonna have the grand finale battle with this serial killer? I think he might. But are the cops gonna get in the way? Don't know. You gotta back the Kickstarter and find out so that you can read it. The next one is the new book by K-list writer Brent T. Larson. This one's called Cape Town. We've got a superhero theme going on this time. Did you not figure that out? Cape Town is another one. It's in the last days of superheroes. Are the superheroes all gone? Where have they been? Where do these superheroes come from? That's a mystery to be solved. And you've got to read Cape Town number 1 to find that out. And the final book I want to tell you about is The Pendulum. It's number 1 of one of our remix series. It's about an aging superhero who is looking back on his life. And he's like, man, what can I do? I've had a superhero life, but I've got so many regrets. But I'm an old dude now. What am I going to do? You got to back the Kickstarter to find out. Back it if you can. There's 5 comics. There's all kind of tier levels. We've got all kind of add-ons that you can include. Original art. There are back issues. There are t-shirts. Back where you can. And if you can't back, we get it. We're still in a depressed economy right now. But you can share it. Share it to all of your friends who like comic books and say, hey, look, these guys deliver. So we're asking you to come along on the ride with us. And until then, remember to make mine Silverline.
Oh, is it?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I look at when I show the Make Mine Silverline, right? Sometimes I look at myself and I look like I'm about to shoot a blast.
That's right. Just bop, Silverline style.
Right. I have not checked on the Kickstarter today, so let me go over and see where we're at. Have you guys looked?
No.
I've not looked today. So so we are standing at 40 backers with $23.82. So get on over there and back that Kickstarter if you can. If you can't back it, share it, because you know you got comic geeks in your life, and you know that they would love to have it. Someone's
that's
popping
about
in
the
tonight.
way through. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. We need a lot more though, guys. So y'all get on over there and back. What's up, Mr. Rob?
Hey.
Oh, there it is.
Are you here to tell spooky stories, Mr. Rob?
I hope he is.
I thought I might share my one spooky story. I shared this on Wednesday Wham a while back, but I have it's not exactly a ghost story or anything like that, but it is kind of spooky, kind of paranormal-ish.
Oh,
Is
we need some.
you know how
Share.
you know how
You'll be
you
the
use
first. You'll be the first spooky story for the night.
Oh, okay.
Here, hold on. Let me turn the light off. Hold on.
Right off the bat, huh? What?
There, I'm ready.
Before this, I did not know how to use chopsticks. Any of you guys know how to use chopsticks?
Not well. I take them. You grab them by the end and you jam it into the food, and then you stick it in your mouth.
Yeah. I tell you how to use them. You throw them in the trash can and get a fork.
Grab a fork.
But I one night I went to sleep and I had a dream that I was a Chinese, a really old man. I was Chinese, and I was a woodcutter for prints. I don't know if you know about Japanese or Chinese prints. They would cut them into wood, and they would print things with those. And I dreamt that's what I was doing. I was carving away at a table, and my wife walked up with a bowl of rice and some vegetables. I don't remember what was in it. She handed it to me. I picked up the chopsticks and began eating immediately. I woke up the next morning, and I could use chopsticks.
Whoa.
Oh, you really can. Oh,
yeah. And
wow.
and to this day, I still can. I just, and I like to, if you want to get into the spooky part of it, it might be a previous life that I had as a Chinese, wood cutting printmaker.
And the memory just came back and
the memory came back to me in that dream. Or, in the dream, I had seen enough people using chopsticks that my subconscious created that dream, and that taught me how to use chopsticks. But I kind of like the whole living the previous life as a Chinese printmaker.
Yeah,
that's a lot cooler, a lot more fun.
That is pretty cool.
That's my spooky story.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah. So I'll tell it. I'll tell the next one then. So when I was a kid, probably I don't know. I'm gonna guess probably 8th grade. Okay. I played on a ball team that ranged in age from 8th grade to seniors. Okay, and I might have been in 9th grade. But one of the guys on the team was the same age as me. He was a friend of mine, and he had 2 older brothers. I think one was in 10th grade, one was a senior, and we decided to go. They lived out on I grew up in the out away from the city. And they certainly can't. Yeah. They lived out on a hill, and they had probably 30 acres of land, something like that. And you had to go. So they kind of lived on one side of the hill. You had to kind of go around the hill to get to. There was a little church, tiny little church in the back with a little graveyard there. And so that's where we were going to go camping. We went to to spend the night there. We went camping
to the graveyard.
To the graveyard. We didn't go. We didn't camp in the graveyard. We camped outside. Okay. Outside the church had it was a mushed. It was grass, but it was all mush because cars had been riding on it and everything. And so we just set up this huge bonfire, and I don't know, there were about 8 to 10 of us, something like that. Johnny and I were the youngest ones, and so we put the bonfire up, but we just kind of was goofing off, having a good time, telling stories, one thing or another. And we had our sleeping bags, and Johnny takes an off can and tosses it in the fire. Right? Yeah. So for those of you who don't know what happens, I didn't know what would happen, of course. But when his brother saw it, he like, get out, everybody get out of the way, right? And sure enough, before we know it, that thing exploded, right? Ashes, embers went everywhere. I mean, landed on our sleeping bags. My sleeping bag had little burn holes in it until I got me another sleeping bag and chunked that one and got me another one. And so needless to say, they were all really ticked off at Johnny and I. So basically they're like, you guys you can't do anything else. You just gotta sit on your sleeping bags and not do anything. Right. So we sat there and everybody began to, get die down. They had a little dog with them. Okay? This was their dog, and I don't remember what kind of dog it was, but they had a little dog with them. And we were probably 20 yards from the entrance of the graveyard. So the cemetery was right beside the church. So you had the church, and then the cemetery was literally right beside it. So you could have gone out the side window, one of the sides, and fallen into the cemetery, right? So so the church door faced you, and then the cemetery gate faced you, and all the way around the cemetery on 3 sides, church was on one side, and then the other 3 sides was a tiny little white fence. Okay, and I'm talking about, you know, not thigh high, but calf high. You could step over it.
Probably like a picket, more like a picket fence. That kind
Very
of thing.
much so,
Yeah.
a little bit,
Yeah.
but it wasn't big enough to keep you. You didn't have to climb over it. You didn't. You just stepped over it, right? Except for
Yeah,
the entryway was.
Keep the rabbits out. That's about all
Yes,
it would do,
but
right?
but the entryway was, you know, it had a little awning that had the name of the cemetery
Uh-huh.
over it, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Or an archway. Huh?
but we'd been telling stories all night. Suddenly, I don't know what time it was, but 2 a.m. Suddenly you hear their dog do. And of course, you know, dog's ears, and he's looking directly at the cemetery, right?
Uh-huh.
And of course,
Zombies.
so he gets up, and the dog gets up and walks a little bit towards the cemetery, and his growling is getting a little bit more intense, right? And he gets about halfway, right, to the cemetery gate, and he just starts going, and of course, the hair on the back of our necks is because we can't see a thing, right? All we can see is there's a dog barking at the cemetery.
You would have been able to see if you didn't blow up the bonfire thing, but that's all right. Anyway.
So the dog is, and suddenly it just goes, right, like somebody smacked it, and it retreats a few yards, but it's still looking there, and then it slowly makes its way back to us, you know, with the growling just slow. We never saw anything, but every single one of us beelined it for their car. We slept in their car the rest of the night. We did not. I mean, there were 8 of us in that piled in that car.
It
had a station wagon, but
it could have been anything.
it was probably a possum or something.
A raccoon.
Like that.
Yeah.
But what you didn't, what Roland's not saying is that he kept hearing, quietly, he kept hearing, brains.
Brains. Yeah. What we kept hearing was,
Yeah, that's it.
Or
Vic says, looks like it's time to clean some horse stalls. Pops said, hey, yo, what's up, Pops?
hey, Pops.
Oben.
Silverline family. Oben, we're telling spooky
That's a
stories
cat.
tonight. Vic says, "Dang! Right at the cemetery,
Yeah.
dude. That was incredibly scary. Probably one of the scariest, real scariest. But the thing about it is, we never saw anything. You know, it goes back to it was the fear of the unknown. Yes,
Fear of the unknown.
Fear of the unknown and fear of what we could only imagine.
Yeah,
You
your
know, was
imagination
there.
was probably wilder than anything that
Well,
you could
again,
have seen in there.
We've been telling stories, all night. The goofy campfire.
So
Yeah.
You're all tensed up. Yeah.
And when that dog started growling at the cemetery. So.
Yeah, I can imagine. And this is all you guys were in junior high or middle school age, right?
Oh yeah, I was.
Eighth grade,
I was in 8th grade because it was a ball team. I remember that. So I was either in 8th or 9th grade.
Okay.
And Johnny, who's my friend, he had 2 older brothers, and they were both there. And I want to say one of them was in 10th grade and one of them was in 12th grade. Something to that effect, because I think they were like every 2 years.
But I bet they ran from that cemetery just as fast as you did.
Oh yeah, every single one of us. But here's the deal, right? So we didn't leave. Here's the funny thing: we just all piled in the car, rolled up the windows.
Yeah, lock the door and
Right.
key in the ignition, ready to go if you need to.
Yeah. So it was it was one of Vic says better safe than zombified. All right, so that's my first story. Tommy, you got one?
Well,
Tell it.
okay. So, all right, all my my scary stories are always end with the fact that it's me doing the scary stuff. So okay, I've got a graveyard story. So it was back when I was in high school.
Why are you all hanging out in graveyards? What's wrong with you? You have nothing to do as children.
Hold on. So it was with my church friends and stuff, and we called a couple other people that from the other churches, people that we were in high school with, and I was like, let's go. I don't remember what time of year it was. I remember it being cold because everybody was breathing, the fog, the smoke.
It had to have been around Halloween.
No, I don't know when it was.
Cool.
Maybe no, because I was doing stupid stuff all the time. Anyway, so
not just at Halloween, but all the time. Right?
No, I don't think Renee went, but I remember some of the there were some girls and a couple of guys and stuff. But so we went to the cemetery and we all pulled up. There was I think 3 or 4 cars, so there was about 10 or 11 of us, and it's a pretty big city cemetery, but it's way out in the woods, so you have to kind of get off the road. I mean, New Augusta, Mississippi is way out in the woods anyway, so you had to go further out in the woods, and it's kind of well, I hope nobody from home is listening to this. So the cemetery is not on on the road. You have to like pull off on the dirt road, and it goes out there. It's a big old cemetery. It's a big cemetery. My grandparents are there now. But
statute of limitations.
Oh yeah, maybe so. So anyway, so we're out there, and of course, I'm leading everybody along, and we're going, and then this is so bad. I'm always just playing it up like, I'm hearing stuff all the time. And they're like, shut up, Tommy, shut up. And I'm like, yeah, there's something. And then all of a sudden we did hear something. Oh, I get to laugh so much I'm gonna pee my pants. So way off in the corner of the cemetery, like I said, it's a pretty big cemetery, and way off in the corner we could hear some banging around going on out there, and like I said, there was I don't know 4 or 5 girls and 4 or 5 guys, including myself, and then I think one of us, I purposely, because I set this up, I purposely left my lights on my car to shine out in the cemetery just to cast shadows everywhere. Because I'm a movie going guy. I've got to have it set up, and then there's somebody banging around, and then all of a sudden you could see somebody walking around further out there in the cemetery, walking around, and then all of a sudden he just starts screaming, and it starts coming at us, and you can hear him banging stuff, and somebody's coming straight at us, and we're like, and so I'm screaming and stuff and making everybody else. We all haul butt to the cars, and then we head back to one of the girls' house. We all screamed and left out of there. You remember Les, my cousin that we went bike riding? I called him about an hour ahead of time. I said, go to the cemetery and hide out in the corner, and then I'm going to bring he said he was going to do it, but I wasn't quite sure because we were always doing silly stuff all the time. I gotta give it to him because he was so brave. He parked his car. I saw his car as we were driving up, so I knew he was out there.
You knew he was
there.
So
I saw his car way off to the side, and I was like, "Yeah, my cousin's out there." And he went to the very back corner of the cemetery. Started banging on the ground with sticks. So all of my scary stories are results of me doing Bigfoot. Exactly. So it kind of leads to like the Ouija board scary stories.
Yeah.
It was me. I'm gonna admit it. All my buddies and stuff, we played Ouija boards all the time. I was the one moving it. I'm telling you right now. I was doing it. You'd ask questions, and then of course, Roland knows I'm a terrible speller. I would misspell answers, and they would still go for it. I couldn't spell as a kid. I can't spell now, and I would misspell the stuff.
And yet they believed it.
Sure did. Well, the ghost, of course. He would get things wrong. Of course, Thomas could spell, but I've lived in lots of old houses, being from out in Mississippi in the woods, and even lived in my great grandparents' house at one point, which was just this old rickety old house and stuff. Heard noises, didn't think twice about it, go to sleep.
Right.
I just think of that.
Yeah, I think some of that was because had you been there alone, you might.
No, sometimes I was there alone and I would hear stuff, and I'm like, "This house is creaking. I'm going to bed." And so I didn't care. I would hear something in the other room, and then in my mind, it's like, well, either I can sit here and think that there's a ghost, or I can think it's the running faucet, and I'm going to bed. So.
Vic said people who died in America were illiterate back then, I guess.
Yeah.
They couldn't spell.
Oh, we used to do all kind of spooky, scary story stuff.
Yeah.
But I know one of us lives in a place that's way haunted for centuries. Pete, you've got to have some spooky stories. I know.
No,
you
get all these stories. I didn't hang around in graveyards as a child.
You don't know what you're missing then.
I had a healthy childhood. I had friends.
Yeah, like when Rolla brought up the graveyard thing, I was like, "Oh, he was hanging outside the graveyard." No, I went into the graveyard and was. No, we didn't do anything. We did. We weren't walking over graves and all that kind of. We weren't. We were there.
Right.
So we weren't doing anything bad, and the cops would come through there all the time.
Paranormal programs and these.
I love those shows.
And stuff.
I love those shows.
I just roll my eyes at them.
Yeah.
They come out.
Oh, look, my Geiger counter is going off.
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear that voice? Someone's saying, "No, don't be." No, they're not.
Yeah. See, I would love to go on paranormal things because I'd be like, "Okay, you guys, let's go," and I'll be like, "Hello."
So,
hello.
I'm starting to feel really sick. I'm feeling really sick. No, you're not. No, don't do that. No, you're not. Feeling really uneasy in here. Oh, you? No, I don't. No.
So when I was, I guess when I was in high school, my, my dad's a prankster.
We get along.
Yeah. And we went to a haunted house.
Love haunted house.
I think I was a junior probably. This predates BJ. So it was I can't remember. My sister went. I think my sister went. I think the whole family went, and my girlfriend at the time went, and we all went, right? And it was fun, right? It was a fun thing to do. It wasn't really that scary. But now here's the thing. Our house in Brandon, right, Mississippi, it had two back doors, right, and we almost never ever used this one, and we always use this one. But the thing is, they went in and together you could go in them and then turn and meet, right? Because it was two different rooms. They're tiny, like kind of. Oh yeah. Two utility rooms, right? Yeah, but the one went into the living. Yes, and the one we always used went into the living room. Then it went into the hallway, right, and then down to their bedrooms. The one that we never used went directly from that utility room into my parents' room, right, and then into the hallway. Well, we're all laughing, coming back from the thing, and we walk in. I didn't see my dad shoot off to the right, right. And so as I'm coming down the hallway, my dad has run through his bedroom, yanked the sheet off his bed, thrown it over his head.
Charlie Browned it.
And he goes, "Whoa!"
Cut the eyes out for this.
No, I kid you not. I lost my legs. I dropped right to the ground, and my dad to this day still laughs at that. Because I'm thinking he's behind me, right? I think we're all just but lollygagging into the house. But my dad, he had veered off to the right and literally just yanked the sheets off as he ran by, threw them over his head. So when I come halfway down the hallway, he steps out the sheet over his head. I literally lost my legs in that one, and I just fell to the ground. Yep, they all thought it was a lot funnier than I did. I find it funny now, but Vic says I'd try scaring people like that, but I'm not feeling like getting shot. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm the guy when we're walking out in the woods with a group of people that I kind of will lean over when you're not paying attention, and I'll grab a stick and hide it behind my back, and then when you're not looking, fling it way off while I'm scratching my head. And then you'll hear something way off over there in the corner, just to freak everybody out. I was like, there's a monster. There's got to be something. Yeah,
kind of like you said yesterday. I saw a bear.
No, I did see a bear. I sure did. I'm not joking. That was true. That was true.
Yeah, we're riding bikes and Tommy went, there was a bear. I'm like, no, there wasn't a bear. No one else saw it.
No, because I rounded you just saw me put on the brakes as I pulled up. It freaked me out. Luckily, he ran off into the way. He was on all fours. He wasn't a deer. That's for sure. Wasn't like the week. You remember the week before the deer that would just stood in the way and wouldn't move? You remember with that was weird.
So I got another true. It's a true family story of mine. Rob, you're muted. I saw your mouth moving, but I couldn't hear anything. Let me see if I can unmute you. Can't unmute your guest. Their mic isn't connected is the message I get.
Uh-oh. I saw him playing with his
I saw his mouth moving, but I couldn't hear him. So I was like, well, he's saying something, but then I see the little microphone that says it's muted. Vic says, while Rob's working on that, Vic says, I got a story. I was trick-or-treating this year. Then a guy in a tree started screaming at me. And I almost got into a fist fight.
That's scary. He
tried jumping down behind me.
No.
He's just trying to steal your candy. There you went, Rob. I saw it change briefly. There it is.
That was Vic that said that a second ago. Vic, that was me. Yeah. I'm the one that was in the tree. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you like that. That was my bad. I'm sorry. I'm playing a prank. Another Thomas prank. Sorry.
No, you were talking about deer. Well, this last Tuesday, I was driving the volleyball team from Columbia, Missouri on down to, I don't know if anybody knows how far away Nevada, Missouri is. It's clear. It's like 2/3 of the way across the state of Missouri. And we were driving back. It was like 11 o'clock at night. We were 45 minutes from home. And this deer comes running out from the side of the road, right into the side of the bus.
Oh boy!
Left front side of the bus.
Oh.
And the bus they hit so hard that you're going 70 miles an hour.
Yeah,
it hits, and God knows what happened to the deer. But I pulled over to the side of the road because I felt it and I knew something had happened. Got out, broke the headlight, pushed the bumper in that far.
Ooh,
good grief!
That far from the tire. And talk about spooky. That was scary.
Yeah.
So I called the college security guys, and they hemmed and hawed and didn't know quite what to do. But one of them finally said, "Well, we've got another bus here, and 15 passenger bus, and we had 22 people.
Oh.
But we also had a minivan.
Oh.
So we packed both those. It took them 2 hours to get to us. Because it took him like an hour to find the damn keys to the bus, because they weren't. It's a brand new thing they just bought recently. They haven't even. I don't think they've even driven it anywhere yet. So anyway,
wow.
I'm not even sure it's licensed, to be honest.
Oh.
But in an emergency, I don't think anybody would have given us a ticket for an emergency where they had to come and get us. They came and got us, but it was 2 hours. It was over 2 hours later when he finally picked us up. It was 3:30 in the morning when I finally got home and in bed. So bears and deer. You think of deer. They can't do any damage. Oh yes, they can.
Yeah.
Oh yes, they can. I've seen them demolish cars.
Oh,
if you hit one,
we have plenty of times in Mississippi.
Yeah, same here.
You are done. And I've seen video of them going through the windshield
Yeah.
and flailing around inside. You know,
It's
and
so
those hooves are sharp.
it's just a shame though. I mean, but whenever you see an animal like that, you know, you don't swerve or nothing. You want to try to, you know, you don't want to kill the thing, but you're like, oh, it's gonna be him or me.
Right. The minute you
and-
swerve,
I
you're hitting
pulled
a
the
tree.
wheel and I got, you know, because I think he would have, we would have hit him square on if I hadn't turned the wheel. So it was just enough that he hit the left front instead of us hitting him square on.
Ooh.
But wow, that was scary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
real
That
scary.
qualifies as a spooky
Yeah,
story,
I had to
right?
change my pants after that.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Vic says this is unrelated, but the last page of Kappa is getting done tonight.
Done or down? Done. Okay, I see.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah.
Getting down.
Getting down.
Getting
Kappa's
down.
Well, that's good news, Vic. That's the thing you got to keep doing is keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Always be doing it. Yeah, I can't. You know, one thing you can't do is you can't just redo and redo and redo and redo and redo.
No, get it done and move on.
Yep, and move forward.
Yeah, there's just good enough.
Yeah.
A lot of times you have to just do just good enough that and move on. I mean, I've been struggling with a page of I'm working on Boston Bombers still.
Mm-hmm.
I've been struggling with this one page, and I'm going, okay, this last little change to the pencils I'm going to do. That's it. And I'm going to ink the darn thing.
It's good enough. Let's move forward.
But I've really struggled with this one. Because I wanted to, you know, I want a certain thing to happen. So
yeah.
But this one's, you know, usually I can get a page penciled in a day. This one's taken a day and a half to almost 2. So
wow.
Yeah, it's a struggle. Sometimes it's a struggle. Yep. But just good enough. Get her done.
Get her done.
Right.
Move on. Get on to the next one.
Get her done. Get her done. Pete, you don't have any spooky stories.
I know Pete's got to have a spooky
That's
story.
what I'm thinking, man. You don't.
Tell me something.
You went into a haunted castle.
You got a little one in the house.
Yeah, you got castles. You've got
something scary's happening.
You've got dungeons and stuff. I mean, under your house, there's got to be a dungeon, right? Isn't that all of London is built on top of like burial grounds or something?
With lots of haunted buildings. I've never experienced a haunted, but I don't believe in all that nonsense. So I think you have to be.
You don't believe in it.
I think you have to be like Tommy.
Something weird.
I don't believe in it
Tommy,
either.
weak mind, susceptible to this nonsense. And
haven't you seen anything just weird? And you go, well, that's weird.
No.
Yeah, there's Oh
no.
Well, when Tommy took me to the Halloween horror nights,
you got scared. You peed yourself a couple of times.
I wouldn't say they were spooky.
Well, but you got scared, so there had to be something.
I didn't get scared. It made me jump. Yeah.
The jump scare is not the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I think a jump scare is just someone, you know,
Boo.
Yeah. And that's not
we've
really
stayed in plenty of hotels
that's more
and
surprise
buildings
than
that have got
anything else.
haunted.
Yeah.
They're haunted by people. Or usually the ghosts are women. Actually, I've noticed.
I didn't find enough for those darn kids. You know,
Scooby
Doo. It was always some guy in a suit or something.
He would pull his mask off.
Something spooky.
It
wasn't something really spooky.
Yeah, it's old man
Jones.
Yeah. There's stuff in this world that is unexplained for now.
Yeah,
but it will. You know. So no, I've run into some things that are unexplained. I don't necessarily ascribe them to supernatural things. It's just something that hasn't been explained yet.
Here's something that's unexplained. Okay, so I come from a family of farmers, right? So my family lives back in Arkansas. They live out in the middle of nowhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people know when they talk about farmers, they're poor farmers. Well, my family wasn't even poor enough to be poor farmers. They were hill farmers. And if you know anything about farming, hills are the worst ground around. You want the bottom land, you want the flat land. Well, my family were all hill farmers, right? And so so one of the locations,
So where the term hillbilly comes from?
it is actually, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Excellent.
hillbillies.
Actually, yeah.
And so you know, a lot of those communities, there were churches all around, and the community church from where my family's kind of ancestral homes are in Arkansas is only about 2 miles. Okay. And if you ever look at, now it's changed a lot today because a lot of those houses are just gone, and you know, they've cleaned everything up, and they've just turned it back into tillable ground. But I can even remember when I was a kid, you know, there was a house here, and then, you know, a quarter of a mile there's another house, quarter of a mile there's another house, right? And the road kind of wound in, you know, into the hill, and this was Crowley's Ridge, so it's not a huge hill, it's not a huge mountain, right? But it's just this big ridge in the middle of this beautiful Delta farmland, right? And so as you go up the hill, my family was kind of dotted along the hill, right, as they moved up. Well, the closest one, kind of at the top of the hill, the church was at the top of the hill, and there was a huge cemetery there. Cemetery still there today. It's where actually BJ and I have plots there, so that's where we'll end up, right? Well,
Tommy will come and visit. He likes the graveyard.
no, Tommy will
Tommy
come,
and I'll come visit.
yeah, Tommy will bang on the cans. Let's wake rolling up, right? So the first house right outside of the cemetery belonged to my family, and I'm not sure. I think it was an uncle. It wasn't my uncle, but it's like a great uncle kind of thing, Uncle TB, right? So Uncle TB was so afraid of ghosts because they live right there at the cemetery. He literally would not go anywhere when at night, right? He had to stay there. Part of the reason for this is because they had a back door that would never close. They could close it and lock it and leave the house, and when they returned, that door was always open. No, you know, nothing missing. Nobody stole anything. You know, but the door. They would go to bed at night. They would wake up the next morning. The door was always open. And my uncle,
open or unlocked?
Open.
So
yes.
Was it? They'd lock it, and not only was it unlocked, it was open.
It was opened. Yes. No, not like this, not like wide open, right? But it was just, you know, it just opened. Yeah. Like, so, like, you know, when you leave a room, you kind of pull the door behind you, but it doesn't close.
It doesn't latch.
It just kind of goes. Yep. And so my uncle swore that was the ghost coming in and poking around while they weren't there or while they were there. They never harmed anything, right? Like I said, they never hurt the family. They never stole anything, nothing like. But my uncle was convinced that was the ghost, and that's why he would never leave. Even as an old man, he would never leave.
I would like to see the lock, because it's probably just because it doesn't fully latch. When you shut it,
so, yeah.
You know, so there's probably an explanation, but still.
So to be clear, this is an old home. This is, you know, 18.
So
exactly, and it was on a hill.
Going to be out.
Listen, it's on a hill, and that area is, if you know anything about it, that area, they have earthquakes there daily. Now they're small, but
it's not too far. It's over the New Madrid area.
It is the New Madrid fault. Yes.
Okay, so they're on the new. Oh, what yeah.
Yes.
That's due for a biggie, in fact. So
it is. It's due to.
We'll here in Missouri, Arkansas, and the surrounds, we'll feel that one.
Yes. Yeah.
The last time it let loose, the Mississippi River ran backwards.
Yep. Yeah. There are counts of trees shooting up out of the ground.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Yeah,
and if you know, and of course, if you know much about it, what happens is the earth shakes so much it liquefies, literally causing the trees to pop up out of the ground.
Yep.
And Reelfoot Lake was formed, and those, by the way, that was 1811, 1812 that happened. Mm-hmm. And the thing about it is that area wasn't heavily populated at the time. And so Memphis was just a community. If that thing hits today like it did then, it's going to knock Memphis into the river.
Yeah, it's gonna be a mess, especially masonry buildings.
Yes,
because it'll wreck those.
And they weren't built. They weren't built for earthquakes.
No, so that'll be a mess.
It will be a mess. It actually will be. Shoddily made ghost. Boo. Vic says Tommy is a strange creature indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. I got a feeling most of these ghost stories are from silly people like me trying to just be goofy.
So where I'm
some
from,
of them, are pranks. Yeah,
yes,
some of them are pranks.
So where I'm from, my family, right? They, Tommy, probably you too. Now, Rob, are you from Missouri there, or?
Yes.
Okay.
I was born in Springfield, Missouri, which is southwest Missouri. You know where that is?
I do. Yeah. Yep.
So down, in the Ozarks. I was born in the Ozarks.
So
I'm essentially a hillbilly.
This is probably the same for you. So one of the customs when someone dies, people set up with them, right? And basically the body is just laying there, and you have someone literally sit there with the body, and you're just sitting.
I've heard of that. We did. That's not a practice my family had.
Okay,
or my mother's family, because my dad was from Massachusetts, my mom was from Missouri.
Do y'all know some of the reasons for that?
Sometimes people weren't really dead.
Sometimes people weren't really dead, right?
Yeah.
Another one is, did you know that cats are drawn to dead bodies?
I did not know that.
And they would sit up with the dead to keep the cats off of them.
Wouldn't you just close the door?
Well, I mean, in July, and you got to remember there was
until there probably weren't there weren't screens on the windows. You had the windows open. You had to have the windows open to get a cross breeze in the house. And you didn't always have a screen door, so you'd leave the door open too. So all sorts of creatures who wanted to could get in your house.
Right. Yeah.
As well. Yeah.
I had some relatives. Authorities got there. They'd have somebody just stand guard for a little while.
Well,
it's for other reasons, but I believe that. I believe it.
Yeah.
And you kept cats to keep the mice down.
Yes.
You had to have cats.
Yes.
Yeah.
My grandfather would take cats and snakes. If he'd find a snake out in the field, he'd go catch a snake, and then he'd throw it in his corn crib, so that
because they would eat the mice.
They would eat the mice. Yep.
Yeah. And you don't kill a non-poisonous snake.
Nope.
You leave them alone, or you put that like he did. He threw them in the corn crib.
Yep.
Now that would scare some people. But...
Oh yeah, me. I've seen my grandfather see a snake, just reach down and pick it up by the tail, and then just carry it over to the barn and toss it in. And I'm like,
"Yep,
yeah, no, Grandpa,
I'm not going in there.
I'm not going in there now."
Yeah, now you want me to go get something from in there? Are you like 1,000 snakes in there?
Vic says my family takes pictures of the body in the casket. Ooh, okay.
I've seen that, and yeah,
I don't want pictures of them in the casket. I want pictures of them before they went in the casket.
Yeah.
Long before they went into the casket.
So
when they were still moving.
Yeah.
Here's another.
I want pictures of them.
I'd like to remember folks, while they were alive, rather than. I don't want my last memory to be of the person.
Okay.
Yeah. That would make me sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now to point in a little different direction with it. Well, go ahead, Peter. Go ahead. Sorry.
So it depends who it is, whether you want to see him alive or dead.
You're so good.
You might not like the guy. Fine. I think that's okay. You may have just gone there to spit on the grave.
Or do something else on the grave.
Dance.
That's right. You see.
Scare people.
Yeah, we were talking about pranks earlier. You probably are aware of this, Roland. Having family down in Arkansas. You know what a chivalry is?
Oh yeah, yep, sure do. I've heard my now. I've never. And I've heard my mom talk about them.
Yeah, I've experienced one.
Really?
My
So tell
present
us about
wife
it.
and I were shiveried.
Really?
Yes.
I'm not. Explain.
Oh, you don't know what a chivalry is, Tom?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
Should
of
I?
course, it's a French word. I don't know the exact origin of it, but it's an old practice where a newlywed couple will be entertained by their family and friends on the honeymoon night.
It sounds like a Game of Thrones kind of thing. What do you mean?
Well, the family late at night will gather around the house just about the time that the husband and wife are about to consummate their marriage,
Oh,
and they will have pots and pans and any kind and shotguns and corn to throw on the windows so it sounds like shot is hitting the windows, and they will raise one hell of a ruckus just as the folks inside are probably, like I said, getting ready to consummate their marriage. And they all come in the house, and you are the couple is supposed to feed them and give them drink, or there will be consequences.
Right.
So, yeah, that's a chivalry. And so my wife and I, we were.
You got married and you went on a honeymoon and you left. That's right.
Yeah, but we were staying. My parents had a cabin on Lake of the Ozarks, and that's where we were celebrating our honeymoon. So they knew where we were going. So they after we got in there and had been there for a while, they surrounded the house and they started banging pots and pans. And my wife is freaking out. My wife is freaking out, and I'm just starting to laugh my butt off because I know what's going on.
Yeah, better start grilling some steaks or make some hamburgers.
Yeah,
feed these people.
Fortunately, my mother was kindly, and she had stocked us up with stuff to feed them when they got there. So she had set us up properly. But and my dad laughed about that for years afterwards.
Yeah.
He really enjoyed that. They gave us a regular old chivalry.
It's so I looked it up, and it's imported from, get this, rural England.
Oh,
really? Okay.
Yep.
I thought it was a French word, but
no. So it is a French word, but it said in the U.S. it's imported from in the eastern U.S. This custom imported from rural England was simply called a serenade, or known under various local names. In much of the central U.S. and Canada, it's called a chivalry, a loan from French charverie, which denotes the same folk custom in France.
Right. Yeah.
So
there were a lot of French in Missouri and Louisiana and Arkansas.
Yeah,
I mean,
you got a lot of, don't they?
Yeah. Well, remember, this is part of the Louisiana Purchase.
Sticking their nose in where they belong.
Right on up the Mississippi. So it was French territory before it was U.S. territory. But yeah, so there's a lot of French named. St. Louis is San Luis,
right? All up and down the Mississippi River and all in Louisiana, all kind of French stuff. Vic says Tennessee stuff. Good thing I'm out of there. He's talking about the pictures from the casket, right? It's probably thanks to how expensive photography would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
He says subtract the noise and food threats, and I believe that's a Jewish tradition.
It may be more universal than that. It may be. I think there's a worldwide practice of something similar to that.
I know
in all kinds of cultures.
I know many Native American cultures do that as well. Obviously, they didn't import that from England.
It's a universal human thing, probably a cultural thing that's passed. We've probably been doing it since coitus. Since coitus began.
Yeah. So. Well, it's people like Tommy, right? Hey, they just got married. You know what they're about to go do? Let's go raise Cain, right?
Scare the crap out of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they in the Game of Thrones show they take it one step further, don't they? Don't they go and watch while they're
Really?
yeah?
That's
I
a
bet some
medieval
of
practice.
yeah.
That,
In
that,
some
that,
in some cultures, that's okay.
so what they did medieval times when you'd marry, it was an arranged marriage, and
To make sure
the
that
family
It
had
had to be.
evidence that the
It
marriage
had to
was
be
consummated.
witnessed, didn't it?
the
Really?
witness.
So
Ah.
they would stand
The
around.
consummation had to be
Yes,
witnessed.
it had to be witnessed.
Mhm.
Otherwise, they could claim that actually now we're not really, we never consummated the marriage, therefore it's
Right.
not valid.
Yeah.
And for so many
Wow.
treaties and stamps
Yeah.
built around these marriages that had to be.
See, I knew you knew something scary.
Talk about
I don't know how scary
performance
that is, but-
anxiety.
But yeah,
oh no!
when he
We're
was talking about pulling
trying to
pranks,
get this over
that came
fast.
to mind. It's chivalry. Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I know my dad. My dad actually participated in quite a bit of those. He's told me stories. Again, out in the boonies. My grandparents actually had, and my dad spent his baby years, and so did my uncles. They had what was called a weaning house. You ever heard of a weaning house? So it's a small house in which the newlywed couple, they move into, when they're first married, they move into they're weaning off of their families, right? So
No, okay.
it's not a big
I
house.
thought it meant something else, but okay.
No. You wean the new weaning. Yeah, you know how you wean a
Right.
a
Certainly,
dog
yeah.
from its mother, right?
Any kind of animal off of its
Yes,
mother, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And so they had a weaning house, and so many of in my family, when they first got married, they moved to the weaning house for several months to a year or so, and then once they kind of got on their feet, they
Figured
got
out
their
what
own.
to-
Yeah,
That's
they got
actually
their
a
own
pretty
house.
nice process. That's
Oh,
pretty cool,
yeah.
really.
Yeah.
I like that.
I
That's a good one.
remember the house, but no one ever lived in it when I remember. I remember seeing my uncle, jumping in the trees. But when I was a kid, the house still stood. It was just a really rundown shack.
It was run down. It hadn't been used
Yes.
probably for a
No.
very long time.
No,
Because what the family would probably do, I'm guessing here, is before the marriage, they would go in and fix up the house for them to move into.
Yep.
That's a great practice.
Yeah. I
These
kind of
days,
wonder.
with the housing like it is, maybe we ought to start that again.
I'll have to go back to that. Yeah. Vic says, as long as it doesn't happen to me, I'm good. All right.
What, chivalries? Yeah.
Chivalry, yeah. So I got another one for you. You guys probably know this one. And some of I don't think this is actually proved, but I've always thought of it. You heard the Saved by the Bell thing. Oh, I was saved by the bell. A lot of times we say it here in school. Oh, I was saved by the bell. But do you know where a lot of people think those origins come from, right?
It was the being buried alive thing, right?
Being buried alive. They would actually they would bury you with a bell attached to that went into the casket attached to your hand. And if you hear a bell ringing from a cemetery, oh no, there's someone still alive in there. And that's when they would hear the bell. They would go and dig you up, and oh look, you're alive! You were saved by the bell.
Makes sense.
I seem to remember reading that somewhere, but that's really wow. And the thing is, it does happen because people would go into a coma or whatever, and they would appear, their breathing would be so shallow that people wouldn't think they would think they were actually dead.
Well, that would have to be like
before embalming, of course.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That's the way back in the day when they didn't cut you open to see what was going to watch you die from.
Well, and that's the whole thing about sitting up with somebody is that they stayed in the house until they died. They stayed in the house, then they went to the cemetery. There was no funeral home. You died and they buried you.
You were lucky if you had a box.
Yeah.
Somebody would make a pine box for you. That's usually what it was, a very simple pine box they throw you in. Bury you in Boot Hill, so
right, yeah, yeah, and if you've ever been to a cemetery and you know how if you've ever seen a fresh grave, you know how they kind of mound up. So a lot of people think, oh, yes, that's exactly.
Oh, no.
A lot of people think, oh, well, they just do that because they dig the dirt out and the box. And no. It's because that thing will collapse and the
It'll
dirt
settle.
will fall and it will actually sink in.
It's amazing. It's even you do dig all that out and you put it next to the grave. You put the coffin in and you put the dirt on the top. You would think that it would mound up and stay mounded. No. It sinks, and there's usually a sinkhole there.
Yes, yeah.
In fact, I'm my mother's old stomping grounds back in the Ozark Hills. There's a cemetery that my grandparents, my great grandparents, and so on back on my mother's side. They're all buried there, and I'm actually on the board of this cemetery. It's all we collect money every year. We have Decoration Day every Memorial Day weekend.
Oh,
it's
cool.
The original name for Memorial Day was Decoration Day, and we go and we put flags on the graves of all the veterans, and we put flowers on them, and we flower all our families and all that. And they've actually had delivered several times. There's a big pile of gravel and dirt off to one side. So when people get buried there, that can be put on. They'll put the dirt back in the grave, and it's mounded, and then within a month or so, it has sunk down. So you have to go in with that dirt and fill it in so that it's flat with everything else. That makes no sense to me, because you've put the coffin in there. You would think that amount of dirt should not fit back in there again. But nope. You have to put even more on there.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be displaced, so it all evens out. But
the only thing I can think is that when the lunar cycle actually loosens up the soil, it'll actually pull rocks up out of the ground.
No, I didn't.
You didn't know that? Yeah.
No.
The moon will actually, at certain tides, will pull rocks up out of the ground.
Pete's not buying it.
Yeah. Pete's giving me that look. It really happens. Look it up.
Look it up, Pete.
You watched that new series on Netflix? Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. They're like short. They're not short. They're like spooky horror stories.
Yeah, short stories.
There's a really good grave robbing one you'd like there, Rob.
Oh, yay. The moon pulls somebody up out of the ground.
It's really good. It's really good.
But yeah, the gravity, and I think it just loosens the soil. And when you put it in there, when you put it back in, it takes all the air out of it.
Yeah, and that's what.
Yeah, so it collapses more. So I don't know. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, because otherwise that makes no sense at all.
No, it does not.
But that's not a spooky thing. That's just
it's not. It's a weird thing. Yeah. Vic says that's all right
because I'm saved by the bell.
Yeah. That's just one of those weird things. You mentioned the Decoration Day. Where my family's from Northeast Arkansas, and so one of the things they have there, they have during late summer, they have what they call picnics, and they're just little country festival things. And all of the picnics are they're run by the cemetery associations associated with the local graveyard there. And the picnics, their goal is to raise money for specific graveyards.
That's exactly what we do at the Decoration Day. Is everyone comes and we say, okay, now it's time to contribute. We'll pass the plate or whatever. And we always write a check every year. So
Yep. Same
that's
here.
That's exactly what's going on. That's because you don't have. We don't.
Well,
we
they're
don't
in the middle.
have.
No,
it's
they're in the middle of nowhere.
There's no church affiliated with this particular. There's no one there to take care of it but the families.
Right.
And of course, and families moved away from rural areas, so there weren't that many for a long time. When I was a kid, there was a hillside next to it where we had the dinner. And that hillside would just be covered with people. Yeah. But there for many years, it was just a handful of us were showing up every year. And now it's starting to, I guess the families that did remain behind are starting to grow now. And then we've got a number of young people that are living in the area that are coming to it. And they one guy does fried catfish. catch or
Yeah.
prize fish. He catches fish all
Mm.
year, freezes them, and then brings them on Decoration Day, and that's part of the feast that we have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Catfish or whatever they caught out in the Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah. Yeah. They have all
Yep.
kind of yeah, they have auctions. All the local
Mhm.
businesses give things. Some good things, some cheap things. But some of the I think who else? I think might have been telling Tommy. One of the the Greenway picnic, right? So the community's Greenway is the name of it, and they're raising money for their cemetery. So they make hats every year, like ball caps, kind of like what Pete has on, and it just says Greenway Cemetery Association, and it has a year on it, right? And I don't know, for like 20 or 30 years running, the same guy got the first hat every year because they would auction it off. This dude was paying, $300, $400, $500, $600, $700 for a ball cap. But all of the money was a donation to the Cemetery Association, so it was all in good. It was all for good.
It's tax deductible.
That's it.
It's for a good cause.
That's it.
Exactly.
Yep. And now today he passed away a few years ago. He's buried there. I wonder if they buried all of his hats with him now that I think
I was going to ask. I wonder, because he'd have one hell of a collection, wouldn't he?
Yes, he would.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and so my dad one year bought my dad paid like $300 one year for a little bass boat seat. My dad doesn't even have a boat.
Well, and then you donate it back so they can sell it again.
Well, they do that. The one year
that happens, I'm sure.
Yep. Yeah. One year they sold the same. One of the local places up there usually donates a rifle. And one year they sold the same rifle. They auctioned it 3 times. The same one, right?
Yeah.
Somebody got it. He said, "Oh, I just put it back up there again," right? So, so he got it, paid for it, and they re-auctioned it again. Yeah.
So you write it.
But like I said, it's all to raise money for the cemetery associations there for the upkeep of the grounds and the graves and things like that. So
because you have to mow it. Yep. And if it has a fence around it, you have to keep the fence up.
Well, and somebody's got to dig the holes to bury the new people in it.
There's usually they can usually contract that. I think ours is contracted out.
That's usually
with a backhoe and digs the hole, but.
I think
you don't have an actual grave digger anymore.
Yeah.
Wait. Pete's got something to say.
Yeah,
it's occurred to me. You guys know way too much about how graves are run. It's a little unusual. It's a little weird.
Like I said, I'm on the board.
On
this graveyard.
So Pete, you guys know
Pete's never been to a graveyard.
Cemeteries there.
Yeah,
he lives over one.
I don't hang around them all day figuring out how's this maintained then?
Once a year.
Who's doing all this work?
Once a year. I don't hang around all the time. I go once a year.
There might be a guy digging it. There might be a guy mowing it. Or it might be the same guy.
Yeah, it might be.
I don't know. And you know what? I don't think I'm ever going to worry about it.
You might.
I don't think I'm ever going to wake up one day and think, you know what? I need to figure this out. I need to know what's going on with those dead people.
So when you go, have you made plans as to what they're going to do with you when you go?
You do what you like with my body. I don't care.
Yeah, well, that's what I told my family. Give away the parts that's usable.
I'm hoping
do whatever you want with the rest of me. Burn me up, and
I'm hoping they'll be able to freeze me.
Freeze
your head and stick it on a robot body.
Right
to life.
Yeah,
just like a Star
Trek. Futurama.
My dad says he wants to be cremated and he wants the urn to be put on the fireplace mantle. So he keep an eye on the family.
You gotta put some big googly eyes on it.
Oh man.
Let's see here. Vic says that's why you got pickup rocks where you break a horse.
Because it pulls them up out of because the moon will pull them up out of the ground
after a full moon. There you go.
Well,
and it says, "Dang it, Gravedigger was my backup if Mailman falls through."
Well,
But there is
get
a
yourself
job.
a backhoe.
Yep. Vic says, I want a Viking funeral being flung over the walls of my enemy.
Uh,
There you go.
well, don't they get put on the little boats and get set on fire? Isn't that how that goes?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
But
No, you
they
was talking about.
actually-
You was
I
talking
think
about
you die a warrior's death. That happens if you just die.
Oh yeah.
Comic book artist. I
Klingon.
guess.
Klingon.
They
Yeah.
don't.
He fought a
Comic
good
book artist.
battle for many years during those pages. He deserves a warrior's death. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he did. It's like dodging bullets. You're same thing. You're right.
Yeah, it is. You should get warrior pay. Yeah. They should the comic book creators. They should take them and ground your body into dust and then put you into the printing press, right?
or
Maybe in the pencil lead.
I mean,
Make
we're
you-
most-
make
got a
you
lot of
into lead.
carbon. You just make us into a pencil.
Make it into
Yeah,
a pencil.
yeah.
There you go.
Well, that'd be fine with me.
Yeah.
Be in somebody's drawing.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You have to be more of the ink because you get erased when you go to ink it.
I don't like
So.
this guy anymore.
What are you wiping off the page
Yeah, you
there?
wipe out it.
I'm wiping Tommy off the page.
That was Rob. We just wiped
Which part of
Rob.
this is going off which part of me is going off the page? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We have gone off on a
Mm.
Oh
tangent.
my goodness. Yeah. Vic says, "Drain my blood and do ink." Oh yeah, like the Kiss
Make
comic.
ink
Yeah.
Like the Kiss
Yeah.
comic. Yeah.
Anybody have that comic?
No, but they talked about it on that. I think a couple of weeks ago. I mentioned the
Oh,
Kiss
did they really?
thing. And yeah, they talked about it. They did. They said they did it. So
Yeah.
I don't think it.
Well,
you keep
we
thinking that it was
we
fake or
didn't
not.
put much in there.
Well,
There's
they put
probably,
like a drop.
Yeah.
So
there's probably a very small tincture of them in
Yeah.
all that ink.
no, there's
it was
undetectable.
It was concept art.
It
Yeah.
was the idea of doing it.
Yeah, it's concept art. That was in vogue in the 70s and
It was.
early
Yeah, I was
80s.
gonna say it was pre-internet, so this is where you can get a little piece of Kiss, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, just
damn.
the Kablam books that I printed. I've touched them all, so I'm all over the place. I've probably got
right.
more of me and
Your DNA, right?
yeah, than Kiss blood.
Yeah. Vic says, "Give my ink a DNA test."
I know. That's what you got to do. See who's in there.
Halloween. I love October 37th. That's right. Critical Blast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
October 37th.
That would be what today is. Yeah.
Yes, it would be.
Yeah. Well, we took a break on
Yeah,
Halloween.
we had some stuff going on, didn't we?
Yeah. RJ. So we weren't able to be here, but we still wanted to talk spooky stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about some spooky stuff on Wednesday Wham the week before.
Y'all did. And Rory's haunted, right?
Oh
Is it-
my goodness! He
I'm
had
telling
story after story after
Yeah.
story.
I know. There you go. Well, that time that I was in my bedroom and then I felt the thing push down on me, so I moved. And then I went to another place, and then a thing came from the door, and it looked at me and said, "Hi, you thought you moved? I'm following you."
Now,
And then he
did
moved
did
somewhere
he
else.
have some pictures? Who had pictures? Somebody.
I
had
got the
pictures of stuff.
best.
Yeah.
I got the best.
Rory's-
That'll happen Wednesday. Go listen to Wednesday. You'll hear those stories. So
That was
Okay,
good.
yeah,
I
come
got
on
the
by.
best. I got the best spooky story for you ever. All right.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Let's
I
turn it way
forgot
down, way down.
I
way
forgot
down,
about
way
this one. So when we were living in Oxford, Mississippi, Brett was probably let's see, he would have been in second, third, fourth, probably fourth grade, fifth grade, something like that. And one morning he woke up and then said, "There was a man in my room last night." And we're like, "Do what?" "Yeah, there was a man in my room last night." We said, "Well, what happened?" "Well, he just stared at me." "Okay, well, did he move? You sure it wasn't like a thing?" No, it wasn't. It was, it was a man. And we said, "Well, what did he look like?" He goes, "Well, he was kind of old, like Paco." Now, Paco is what he calls my dad. It's his grandfather, right? And we're like, okay, well, let's, you're not hurt. No, he didn't do anything. Okay. So, so it happened again. Right. And we're like, so let's figure this out. So we went in there, I laid down on his bed and I said, well, where was it? And he pointed to it. And I said, well, you don't think it might've been your jacket there? No, Dad. Cause I hit my jacket and everything. And then, the next time he said it again, he said he got right in his face. And I said, kind of like what Tommy's doing. I said, so what did he do? And he goes, he just looked at me. And I said, he didn't say anything. He didn't try to. He said, no, Dad. I said, what did you do? He goes, I didn't move because I was scared.
Yeah.
And so we got a nightlight for him, and we
Bottom of a gun, bottom of a knife.
shifted things around, and he just kind of
Pepper spray.
So about a month later, the guy I bought the house from was over to get some stuff out of the shed that he had left in the shed. We didn't know. We didn't mind. Yeah, go get the stuff. We hadn't been back there yet. And so he started asking about the house. And he said, and I said something, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, my dad was living here when he died. And he lived with them. And I said, yeah. And he said, yeah, he was in that back room. I said, which room? And he goes, and he said the room. And I said, and he died in the room? He said, yeah, my dad died in that room, which was the room my son had as his bedroom. And when he told me that, I the hair on the back of my neck stood straight up, and we didn't tell Brett that.
I would say, I hope you didn't tell him that.
We told him.
Situation,
I'm telling him
imagination would go.
We told him much later, but we did not tell him while we lived in that house. Yeah. So I'm not saying that's what it was. I'm just saying it's spooky.
Yeah, it's one of those unexplained things that
Well,
it could very well just been his imagination. But it's just not. It's not explainable.
No.
So,
and the fact that he said it was an old man like Paco.
Yeah.
So he's basically it's an old man like my grandfather, but it's not my grandfather. And of course the man that died there was an old man. He would have been about his grandfather's age, right? Yeah. Because the man who sold the house to me, to us, he had a daughter. He had kids the same age as my kids, right? So we were roughly the same age. I don't know exactly how old he was, but roughly the same age. Critical Blast says, when I was 13, I'd go to bed, and after a bit, my sheet would raise. Hey, was up in the middle. Did this and that? Turned out it was just because I was 13.
Very funny.
Critical. You got me on that one. Yeah.
Half of it, he goes, oh.
I got halfway into that one. Okay, yeah, I got that. Yeah. RJ's like, got him. Vic says, I wish I was here for the one 2 weeks ago. Comics for kids and teens. I feel like I would have been good. I would have been good for the conversation. Yeah. Why weren't you here? We expected you, but you weren't here. I thought it would have been the previous homeowner breaking in or something.
He did.
Yeah.
It could have been something like that. Yeah.
I guess we're like a lot of people. When we buy a house, we change the locks immediately, just because we don't want to.
What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. You should do that. Yeah. You should do that.
It's so suspicious.
Yeah. You've been to America enough times to know. Yeah.
Especially
I live in London now.
Especially in the hinterland, like where we live. Yeah.
Yeah. Those guys over there, they leave the doors open at night. They don't even during the day. They don't care.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Nah.
Yeah, I don't believe that
Not
for a minute. No, not in a city like London.
Yeah, there's plenty of cameras everywhere. They see everything going on. They know what's going on.
Well,
I've been watching all
cameras
of the
everywhere.
England
Missouri's got cameras everywhere now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, a lot of the stores have security cameras outside.
Right.
So
Yeah.
and so any kind of business has got cameras. So and a lot of houses have those ring
Right.
doorbell cameras. So I mean, I've got a couple of cameras around my house. We mostly use it to watch
And inside.
the cats eat the
There
food
you
that we
do,
leave for them
yeah.
every night. But yeah,
A
but
few cameras up at the grave sites.
Yeah.
Always a fresh one.
Ooh,
There's
that
a
would be
fresh one in
fun.
the grave.
except there's no electricity at that cemetery.
The fresh one.
Solar powered.
Yeah, I'd have to put up a solar panel, I guess.
Well, you can put up one of those. They actually have these
Mhm.
trail cams. I forget what they're.
Yeah, but it's in the
A
middle.
movement.
It's in the middle of a what do they call those wildlife cameras?
Yeah, just the
Yeah,
trail.
right.
Yep,
That's got a
yep.
battery in it, and it takes a short video or it takes a
If
photo.
it sees something move.
breaks, you set up two of them, and when something breaks the beam, it sets off the shutter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
My
the
dad's
video.
got-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Catch
my
a
dad's
picture
got
of a
one in his
ghost.
backyard. He's got a new armadillo he's been trying to get rid of, and so he set up a camera back there. So
Armadillos I find dead armadillos all the way up here in central Missouri,
Yeah.
up just off of I-70. When I was a kid, there weren't no armadillos up
Nope.
here.
We're
They're all the
running
way
them
up
up.
here.
Yeah, we're sending them that way.
Fortunately,
I think it's warming up and they're moving further north.
the last
Just
I
like that.
heard, they weren't able to cross the Mississippi yet.
They got bridges.
Oh, they crossed the Missouri.
Did they?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty easy to do coming up from Texas, though, isn't it? You go around it. Missouri go all the way to the Rockies?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It goes up through South Dakota and
Okay.
over I think it goes up into Wyoming and Montana.
Okay. Wow.
It goes a long way up in there. So yeah, I don't know how. Of course, there's bridges,
Right.
across. So I think that's how they're getting across. They're just, they're either hiking on a vehicle or they're taking the bridge across. But I've seen them dead on the road north of the Mississippi or the Missouri River, which runs through the middle of the state of Missouri, and then hooks up with Mississippi over in St. Louis.
Yeah.
But they're up here now. So, but when I was a kid, I lived in Southwest Missouri. We never saw them.
No.
In the last 50, 60 years, they've just moved this far north.
Yeah, and they're tearing up my dad's yard like crazy, because they just burrow and dig holes and just nasty. So he's trying to get rid of them.
They're good eats.
I've never had one. I don't know.
I haven't either. I would,
It's gross.
That's
what we fed Pete when he was here, when he came to visit.
He thinks he was eating something else, though, didn't he?
He loved it.
We told him it was chicken.
Chicken good.
Chicken good.
As tends to happen on our Sunday nights, this time has flown. Anybody got any other final spooky thoughts to say before we sign off?
Don't go to a grave with Rob.
Don't do that. And if you're ever doing a Ouija board session with me, realize
it's just you.
It's just me.
When it starts to back this campaign,
right?
It's definitely
moving.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's something he says. He said that maybe we should mention the fact that there is a Kickstarter right now.
That's right.
I mean, I don't have anything in this particular one, but that everybody supported mine, so I'm going to help support theirs by mentioning it at every opportunity. And so here's another opportunity.
That's right. There you go. So
you're going to share it to the screen, or let us see how it's doing.
Yeah, let's see here. I gotta do this.
I feel bad of accusing you to be a grave robber now, Rob. Thanks. That's very kind.
No,
he didn't say he robbed graves. He just said he's
putting people in.
I just say you have a unhealthy.
I'm actually helping keep the top of the graves by paying for mowing and keeping
people from tripping.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's see. Here we go. All right, share. Where we at? Present. Share screen. And here we are. All right. Ooh, let's see if I can. Let's see. I guess I need to do this, don't I? Here we go.
There it is.
Ooh,
Yeah. Okay.
there's
So
less than half of that.
say again.
The last time I checked out the Kickstarter, it was about half that because it was a while ago.
Yeah.
It's making some progress.
Yep.
13
So we
days to go.
Yep, we got it just
We
under
need
2 weeks.
Yep.
Got 2383. Just in case you guys didn't know, here are the 3 books. Got Divinity number 3, Trump's number 4, Cape Town number 1, Switchblade number 3, and Pendulum number 1. You can see there's all 5 of them here for all of the Kickstarter exclusive covers. You can only get these covers if you get if you back this tier and get the Kickstarter exclusive covers. You can still get the books, of course, and then because we have our A covers and we have our B covers, we do our retro editions. Here's what the books look like on the interior. I'll let you guys go over and do that, but there's all kind of add-ons available. You can get T-shirts. I'm particularly jonesing for this.
That's a nice T-shirt.
Yeah,
that is a nice T-shirt. I like that design.
Yep. And of course, there's all kinds of original art. Now, there's a link to the photo album here that's got a lot better. There was just so many. I counted 56 pages of original art that's available for this campaign. And so rather than clutter up this Kickstarter page, we decided that I'm going to make a photo album.
Scrolling.
Yep. So you can just go to. I wonder if it'll open a new tab. I wonder if it'll. Does it? Yeah, it does share. So see, you can go to that, and then you can see all of the images better. And then if you want a closer look, then you can just pop it and do that, and look at all the images that way.
Have these been updated with things that may have sold already?
They have not. No, I suggested I wanted to delete them, but several folks said, "Don't do that. Put sold on there." And I'm like, "Okay, well, that's going to take some time." So, but there's a lot of artwork here for you folks that like original artwork. So yeah, there's that. Also, there's the creators. Also, here we go. Updates. Know that we've got some commissions added.
Yep.
Yep. Pete has Pete said he would do up to 10. So this number is incorrect, but you can get a commission from Pete. Great opportunity to do that. You get the comic and you get some commissions. And Tommy has said that he will do some commissions in his famous kid hero style.
So just like before, Pete and I are in competition. I'm going to beat him again this Kickstarter, because I did more than he did last time too.
That's super, because I'm very busy. But on the other hand, let's get this thing backed, and yeah.
Yep.
No, actually, Pete beat me, I believe. I'm lying.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys get over there. We're at 40 backers right now and 2382. So we still got a chunk of ways to go. So
yeah.
So back it if you can. If you can't back it, we totally get it. But what you can do is you can share it with all of your pals and say, "Hey, I've done. These folks at Silverline, they deliver, and they get their comics out when they say they're going to get them out, and there's none of this year later, we're still waiting on a book. Nope, Silverline delivers, and so you tell your friends that, and then encourage them to support a bunch of independent comic book makers. So. All right. Where you guys going to be? Rob, you got any conventions coming up?
Mine's not. I don't have a convention. Probably, I believe it's April. April 20,
okay.
Somewhere in April. Wait a minute. No, March is Planet Comic Con this year. It's earlier in the year than it usually is. It's
Okay.
usually in April or May. This
Right.
year, it's actually in March. That's the
And that's-
dates you could get for the show for that year.
That's the one in
So
Kansas
that's
City,
the
right?
first one, and then Windy City Pulp and Paper Show, which is in, I believe that one is in April. So
Okay.
those are the two. Those are the two that I go to every year.
Gotcha.
And then we'll see come next September.
That's right. Yep.
That'll be number 3 on my list.
Yes.
So fingers crossed. I'm still trying to convince the wife that to
Make a trip.
go to make a road trip.
Nice.
She goes, well, we got to do some stuff along the way, and I said, well, find some stuff for us to do along
That's
the way.
right.
We're both retired. We'll start a couple of days early, and we'll just
Yep.
see the sights along the way. So
Me and Tommy can probably come up with a list of a handful of things for you to do.
Think of all the graves you could visit on the way.
yeah.
Yeah, New Orleans has got some great ones.
Well, yeah, but that's directly south.
It is, yeah.
On the New Orleans ones, aren't they
probably go
above
through
ground in
Memphis.
clips because of the
We might go
water?
through Memphis.
They are. You're right. You're correct.
Yeah,
Pete.
that's right.
I want them
Because-
floating down the river every flood.
Yeah, well, it's because
Hey, there goes Grandma. Hey, hi, Grandma.
Yeah, it's because they would bury New Orleans is below sea level, so they would bury them, and then the caskets would pop right back up. So
There's no lie. You guys know I used to live in New Orleans. You could literally dig with a shovel sometimes, and you could start getting water.
Yeah.
In the backyard. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's.
And of course, Rob will be back on Wednesday night with the Whammers.
Wednesday
what-
Whammers. Yes.
You guys-
Yep.
What are they talking about Wednesday?
I saw it earlier today, and I forgot.
I did too.
I
I'll
forgot what it
go over
is.
there and look. I'll go over and tell you.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, yeah.
Hop over there. It's something about comic books this time.
Yeah, something about
Well, no, I mean, we've talked about it. We've talked about other subjects. We've had guests.
Yeah.
One week, what was it? Couple of weeks ago, it was world building.
right with
We had
the
some guests on
Mighty
where
or
we
something like
talked
that.
about where the guys were talking about how they built this gaming world and
Vic
and
says
comic books were attached and
spy on some other graveyards to get some tips.
get some tips.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, that's not a bad idea.
Y'all are going to be talking about the quest for epic fantasy comics.
Oh, that's
what they're
cool.
doing.
So
Yeah,
Vic
that's
asks,
right,
how many more
fantasy
books completed
comics,
until
yeah.
the submissions open back up? Vic, I wish I could give you an exact answer for that. I don't know for sure.
There's a lot of
please-
stuff in the queue, isn't there?
Yeah, there's just so much, and there's just so much, and not enough hours to go. Please feel free to ask whenever. That the question never bothers me, but it's still gonna be a bit just because we got to get through some of the stuff that we've got. So, and that's a good problem to have. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, we gotta make our way through some of this stuff first. So.
Keep working on your submission.
That's it.
Keep making it better.
Keep
yeah.
keep
Keep working
drawing.
on it.
Keep drawing.
Pete, what about you? You got any shows coming up?
Yes.
You just did MCM, or is that next week?
Oh, I did MCM.
How was that?
Yeah.
Really?
It's just not a comic book
You're
show.
such a Debbie Downer.
It's just not a comic show, Rob. It's just there's no comics, no retailers there.
Oh,
It's people people are interested in Pokemon and
What's wrong with
anime
Pokemon?
and stuff. And it's an anime con basically now.
Yeah.
I think is what it is.
That's
But-
not your can of worms or whatever.
Majority.
Whatever. That's not your bailiwick.
I didn't recognize
That's your stuff.
There's a couple.
You got one.
of
You got one coming up that's more comics, more up
Yeah,
the
I
line.
got
or-
Thought Bubble
okay.
this weekend.
That's this weekend.
This coming
coming up.
weekend.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow,
nice.
cool. Very good.
That's a proper comic show. Yeah.
Excellent.
Good.
I remember you
Well,
you
good
had
luck.
a good time last year.
Yeah, it's good there. It's
Yeah.
probably just comics. There's no media. It's not even any retailers. It's just indie publishers.
Wow.
And wrestlers.
And
You got wrestlers? You got to have wrestlers at the show.
There's a couple of Marvel DC guys that come over,
Yeah.
but otherwise it's like 400. Just
That's a
comic people.
bunch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
So,
that's
you know,
cool.
You know if
That's cool.
Stephen Baskerville goes?
I don't know.
What about Andrew Wildman?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Have a look on their website. They're really
I-
good. They list everyone on their website.
I will do that. I'll send you a name. There's a guy I worked with in the '90s that has been lost to me, and maybe you can poke around. I emailed him for a couple of years, or in the early aughts, but this is 20 years ago now. And I've emailed a couple other times, and something may have happened to him. I don't know, but yeah, I'll send you a name and keep your eyes posted for him. I worked with a little bit with Andrew and Stephen Baskerville. Stephen Baskerville's a fantastic inker. And of course, Andrew Wildman did all kind of Transformer stuff. So, so Thought Bubble. All right, so you guys over across the big pond, go see Pete next weekend. And of course, so does that mean you won't be here next Sunday, or will you make it back in time? Sunday. You won't be here next Sunday. Okay.
No, I'll be in Harrogate.
Harrogate,
which is a lovely part of the world. Really is lovely.
Cemetery.
Okay. Oh, cool. Because there's no French.
I suspect their cemeteries are really nice, Rob. Actually, it's up in Yorkshire. I think they're probably really
ask
nice.
them if they'll pay for me to come over.
I'll get some photos for you. I'll see if there's any freshly dug ones.
Okay. Well,
see if you got any.
I'll find the man in charge of the digging or the mowing or the whatever it is he does.
You need to take pictures of ghost orbs and stuff like that.
Where is it exactly in the UK? Where is it exactly in the UK?
Yeah, I don't know how it works over here. I think you just drive up, dump the body, and someone collects it.
Oh, yeah. Bring out your dead. Bring out your dead.
Someone's going to get this, right? Because we're done with it.
Brian says, "Wee doggies, what's up, folks? What's up, Brian?
Yeah,
we're about to call it a night.
About to wind it up.
Tommy, what about you? You got any shows coming up? Where are you going to be?
Do I have any shows coming up? I don't think I do. I think I'm done for the year, sir.
I think you're done.
I think I'm done. 22. Yeah, we did one this past weekend, but I think I'm done for the rest of unless something pops up, we need to run and do a sign-in or something like that.
We should start looking at doing shows overseas. I know that means you'll have to go and get passports.
Oh, Renee just got her passport, and
she's going on a cruise.
Yeah, she is going on a cruise in December, and I should have went and got my passport at the same.
Should have.
I mistakenly. Doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about, but just to tell you how much I don't pay attention to when Renee's talking to her buddies, that I thought you had to get the passport renewed every year. Apparently, it's every 10, 15 years. I should have went in and got it.
It's good for a long time. It's
like 10 years, I think.
You have to jump through a lot of hoops to get it.
No, hers was easy. She got it, and then she paid the expedited thing, and she got it like a week later. It wasn't any. It was quick.
Maybe they had to delve into my past.
Oh,
yeah,
it's the ponytail that did it, Rob.
Actually, I've never had a passport, but, and my daughter has.
Rob, have you done any shows overseas?
I've never been off the continent. I've never been off the continent of North America. I know.
I don't think I've met an American yet that's actually gone overseas. I think you all get to the shore. I think that's it.
Wait a minute! Wait! You gotta realize Florida is bigger than your whole country. What do you mean? What do we? It's going to take me half a year to get one side to the other.
In Game of Thrones, you've got the Khal Drogo's people. The ocean is they're not allowed to cross the ocean.
No, they're not.
Horses can't go on the sea, so you're not allowed to cross the ocean. It's like that's what Americans are like. It's like we get to the ocean, that's it.
Nope, we can't stop. That's right.
I'm in the middle of this continent. It costs money for me to get out of the state. Lots of money.
There's stuff in the seas. Yeah, there's monsters in the sea. We're not going out there.
Stop sign
right there.
Dragon.
Stop.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There's Gandalf is standing there, and he says, "You shall
not pass." Besides, it's a flat Earth anyway. I think it did. At some point, you just fall off the edge anyway, right?
Surely there can be no more than this.
The Davis name started in Wales, so my last name started in Wales. So I would love to go over there and see where my ancestors stayed.
Cool.
I'd love to go. I'd love to go to France and see the Louvre, but it's just it takes a scratch, and I don't have
Wales
that.
is okay. Wales is okay. However, it is full of Welsh people.
which should be fine for me.
So Pete, if we could arrange for me to come to a show over there, if we can figure that out,
you get somebody over there to pay my way over.
I'm gonna stay at your house, and then we can go to Disney World while we're over there.
I guess I could say I'm a relative of Alan Davis.
That's what
I don't know.
I'm going. Cool. I'm going to go get my passport, and I'm going.
If you get
just so I go to Disney.
I'd love to. I'd love to go.
Oh yeah.
To promote Silverline, that'd be super.
Well, yeah. Well, we're gonna need to have some folks back this Kickstarter.
I bought my lottery ticket.
Or we can have Silverline pay for us to go somewhere
nice.
This
time, I'm going to go get another one. It's up to almost $2 billion now.
That's right. Nobody got it yesterday either.
No, nobody got. And I didn't even match one single number.
Oh God! So, do you play the same number, or do you play something different?
No. I read the stats, and auto pick is the way to go. They said
just quick pick. Yeah, that's
Vic says, get the wristband. Vic, are you talking about this wristband here?
Get the wristband.
If you are, Vic, I haven't checked. Make sure if you back the Kickstarter, drop me a note, and I will. We don't have a lot of these left, but if you'll drop me a note, I'll include one of these in the package that I send out to you.
Don't they grow on trees?
Yeah. You got to look for a past video to see that one, right? Yeah. All right. So on November 20th, I am going to be at Lake County Comic Con, and that is my last show for the year.
They didn't want me to come.
So yeah, that's my last show, and then we'll see what happens. I'm still lining stuff up for 23.
Yep.
Already know that got probably Olo and Daytona. I'll get those dates and be more specific about those. But anything else, guys? Before let me find the bye video here. Let's see, streaming. All right. Anybody got anything else to say? All right.
Make mine Silverline.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Hey, I'm Pat Broderick. Make mine Silverline.